everyone, this is Relic Jones here, and I would like to discuss today Spyro. In particular, I would like to discuss when or if we get a Spyro 4, what is going to be the big bad of it? Everyone likes a big bad villain in their games. This is what makes Spyro 2 so memorable compared to Spyro 1. I may not personally like Spyro 2 as much as Spyro 1, but I will admit Spyro 2 is a better game overall when it comes to gameplay and storytelling. So what could be the next villains in this upcoming fictional Spyro 4? Well, as one of my game theories said, let's actually defeat Nasty Nork. I believe we never defeated Nasty Nork. What we defeated was actually a gem clone, as his spell does. He turns gems into warriors, so he copied himself, and he has a massive treasure trove to have done so. So maybe we can finally actually finish off Nasty Nork. I mean, he's had years to build up an army. And who do you think's been supplying the supplies to his army? Well, that's who I think also could be a villain. What if we could finally fight? What if the next villain is Moneybags? Well, in Spyro 3, we did kind of get our revenge on him. Flaming him, torching him, ramming him for all our gems back. But what happens if this has made him have a chip on his shoulder? He has a lot of connections, and maybe he knows some arms dealers. I don't think he makes his money honestly at all. I mean, he kind of traps and enslaves intelligent animals. That's bad guy material. So what happens was he gets a bunch of money and he can afford to pay an army and he wages war against Spyro and he becomes the big bad. We may not even know it. It might be like the general of the army that he has. But until the end, it's like the real bad guy has been Moneybags all along and he's tired of being kicked around by dragons. But you know who also has an issue with dragons? Yeah, that was Ripto. So what's up with the dragons from his world? What happens if the next villain could be another dragon? It could be from Ripto's world. We could learn why they're so bad, they're negative, and they come and fight Spyro, similar to how in, I believe, Hero's Tale, you fought Red. Red was the villain, but he was a really bad villain. We'll get a good villain through wherever Ripto's world's dragons are. Maybe he really doesn't like them that way. Maybe Spyro has to deal with them. Maybe because they love bringing Ripto back, maybe they'll paint him as a good guy, and then you team up with Ripto to go beat whoever the evil dragons are. And as a side note, what happens if one of the dragons that Spyro freed in Spyro 1 just gets really mad, like so ashamed that a small dragon saved him, that becomes our villain dragon? That would be pretty interesting now, wouldn't it? The last kind of villain I can really think of isn't that plausible, but we've seen it before. What happens if the sheep rebel? Sheep and the fodder animals strike back. I don't think they would do it, but it ain't against their possibility. We've seen similar kind of stuff being hinted at in like Skylanders, but I mean, I don't want to step back to that. But we could see some funny stuff, especially when we see Toasty. Yeah, Toasty being used. He was like a fodder villain in the beginning. What happens if a lot of sheep come together to make some pretty crazy boss fights for Spyro? But those are, what, 4 or 5-ish different villains I can see for the next Spyro game, the fictional Spyro 4. So, give me some comments down below on who you think will be a good villain for the next Spyro. We'll probably get a whole different, non-connected to the canon character, most likely a magic user because the last 3 have been very magical to go with dragons. And if you want to hear more discussions about Spyro and other things gaming, subscribe and hit the notification bell and whatever that YouTube wants you to jump through hoops to make sure you see content now. Bye.